Good afternoon, everybody. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trihey. Hope you're weathering the storm okay on this Sunday. We've seen quite a bit in the way of snow, but I think it's fallen in the parameters that we expected. And now we're seeing that snow beginning to transition to sleet and even rain at the coast right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at those snowfall totals from earlier on. The highest amounts we found, the ones that are in excess of 6 inches, are to the north and west of our area. We've seen Dover come in with 6.5 inches of snow. Here at Coast TV in Milton, 4 inches. The same in Selbyville. Millsboro, about 3.5 inches of snow, with Cambridge and Ocean City checking in with 3 inches. So once again, we fell into the range that we expected, with about 2 to 5 inches across much of the coastal communities and then farther inland, and then about 3 to 6 for the eastern shore and points north. Any of those snowfall amounts that are in excess of 6 inches are back through Pennsylvania into New Jersey and points north and west. Now here's a look at Rehoboth, and boy, if this doesn't scream a coastal storm, I don't know what does. Look at the ocean, those huge white caps, big seas, and temperatures above freezing. We're at 34 in Rehoboth, so that's just plain rain now hitting the lands there, and those winds are screaming in out of the east, 22 miles per hour. We've seen gusts close to 40 at the coast, so quite the storm moving up the coast. Milford, you're farther inland in the colder air, so you're looking at a sleet storm right now and a temperature of 23. And I do want to stress as well, I was on the roads earlier this morning. It is a mess, snowy and slush covered roads. So it's best just to stay home if you can the next couple of days, because it is just really brutal out there. Let the road crews get out there and do their thing. Here's Ocean City, 37 right now. So we're seeing that warm air moving in from the south, which is plain rain there. And then here's the Tidal Health Cam in Salisbury. You're at 35. You can see the roads are slushy and snow covered, but the good news is that we are seeing temperatures above the freezing mark right now. So we could still be looking at a bit of a wintry mix in Salisbury. It looks like maybe a little bit of snow and sleet and plain rain there. And everybody will switch to plain rain as we go through time. Here's a live look at the Cambridge cam. Now, a different story for the eastern shore. We are still really entrenched in that cold air. It's 21 in Cambridge right now. And here is where we have that threat for some icing, some accretion of ice with freezing rain, maybe up to about 1/4 inch of ice. Here is the clouds and radar composite, and we saw that snow early on, but now we're seeing that warm air working in from the south. So that's changing the snow to sleet and then eventually rain. You can see how the plain rain has now moved into Rehoboth, now moving into Millsboro, back through Selbyville, and right now Salisbury is on the edge of sleet and rain and maybe a little bit of snow too, while the eastern shore is in that wintry mix to sleet. And then farther south and east, it's just a cold rain now from Chincoteague to Ocean City, and eventually all this plain rain will overspread the area from south to north. So here's a closer look at the eastern shore, Nanticoke through Best-Pitch, Quantico. You're seeing a wintry mix right now, and maybe even just freezing rain around Cambridge into the Hurlock area. And then farther to the east, it's a mixed bag across Sussex County right now. Coastal areas seeing plain rain as that temperature is moving above freezing. And then all the way down the peninsula into the Hampton Roads area, we're seeing plain rain along the coast. And all of that is shifting to the north. So that's the good news as we go into the afternoon. That plain rain will start to wash away some of that sleet and snow, but the roads are still very slushy and dangerous as we're watching this complex system beginning to move up. In fact, they could be looking at severe weather across the southeast in the Atlanta area with sleet and then maybe severe thunderstorms. We're not going to be looking at that, but we'll definitely be looking at that wintry precipitation changing over to rain and a big temperature contrast right along the coast. We're looking at temperatures into the 20s and 30s, but then you move well inland and across the northern plains. They are in the single digits and below zero. That is some of the Arctic air that will be heading our way next week. And look at the amount of winter weather advisories. They stretch all the way from New Mexico into Maine. So that is thousands of miles of winter storm warnings, ice storm warnings, and yes, that yellow area is even a severe thunderstorm watch for the Gulf Coast area. So a mix of everything across much of the eastern U.S. as we still have a winter storm warning that's in effect for Sussex County. Now, this goes until Monday afternoon, 1 p.m. The precipitation will shut off very early Monday morning, but then it's the aftermath of the storm, the slushy, wet conditions, freezing solid with the cold air. Eastern Shore, you're also under that winter storm warning, and the same for Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester counties. This basically goes into Monday as well. It says 7 p.m. Sunday there, but we are looking at just kind of nasty road conditions into Monday as the visibilities are low too, about 1 to 2.5 miles in sleet and snow right now as we're looking at temperatures around 33 in Georgetown, 37 at Bethany Beach, but then much colder into Cambridge and Easton, and those temperatures are creeping above freezing now, so changing that frozen precip to plain rain. We'll get back to the weather here in just a few minutes. In the meantime, I want to toss it out to Brandon Ferguson. He is live in the field right now out in Georgetown, and I'm sure he is definitely in the elements of sleet right now. Let's send it to Brandon for the very latest.
Yes, Bob, it went from snow earlier this morning to now to a sleet rain type of mix. And I want you to look at the flags here. You can see the wind, and just being out here in this sleet, this isn't your go out and have fun with the kids type of snow now. It was earlier this morning. Now this, when it hits you, you can feel it. I just want you to look at the entranceway to this neighborhood here in Georgetown. This was just plowed about an hour ago by Georgetown Public Safety. And I just look at this is hard snow. This isn't anywhere to try and make a snowball, not yet. But this is hard snow. And again, local towns, they plow roads just like this one. And the town manager in Dewey Beach tells us that they've been plowing since 5:30 a.m. there. And I want you to look, actually, let's go over here to the car. So we talked about the ice and the sleet. Earlier this morning, it's more of the powdery snow. So we just got here about 15 minutes ago, and I want you to look at the buildup on the handle. This handle got out of the car about 15 minutes ago, and look at the ice and sleet building up. And it's going to harden, and it's really going to make things dangerous and icy tonight into tomorrow morning. And if we look at a plow here, this is the local plow that we've been seeing throughout this neighborhood this morning. And if we make our way to where we were live during our sister station's broadcast, WBOC this morning, you can see how much snow has gathered so far. At this specific area, we put down ice melt. And we're going to get to it, and you're going to see, but for Georgetown, the circle, that has been cleared by local plows. And 113 and Route 9 intersection, that is cleared as well from DelDOT. They've been consistently pushing snow onto the side of the road all morning. And let's get to the square. So this morning, this was a clear square. We cleared it out with ice melt. And as you can see now, 7:45 just afternoon, you can see what is gathered, slush and ice. And this was a square we cleared out at around 8:30 with no ice melt, and you can see just a little bit more snow built up. And with this snow, as we hear a few more plows, with the harder snow in the on the middle of the road, that's not good for any snowballs. But I want you to look at people just like this, their personal tractors and plows just coming through and clearing the way for their neighbors. That's what we've been seeing a lot of this morning. And let's see what we can do snowball wise. As the wind dies down, it is good snowball weather, so you can do that if you want to get hit by this sleet. But this is what we've been seeing all morning as well. It's people, with their own equipment, just clearing stuff out and making it easier for themselves. And when it comes to traveling around Georgetown this morning, there's about a light layer of snow and sleet on Route 9 right now from the circle towards Route 113. And again, this sleet is really starting to pick up, and when it hits your skin, you really feel it. And just look at the road conditions we've been seeing. All morning, we've saw probably plows come back and forth, but only 2 cars actually leave this neighborhood. So people are staying put, staying warm, and watching this beautiful weather from inside their homes. And we'll have much more. You have to stay tuned with us tonight on Coast TV News at 6 and 11, as well as our weather apps. Let's take one more look before we send it back to Bob in the warm studio. Look back at these flags, a north wind towards Milford. We're in the Georgetown, so towards the Milford area. And Bob, it's picking up, the wind and the sleet's picking up. And what else is picking up later in this day?
Brandon, thanks. Boy, it looks like a messy scenario out there in Georgetown. Hope you stay safe in the sleet and snow. As we're looking at temperatures that are beginning to slowly creep up, we're right around that freezing mark right now. In fact, above freezing in the Millsboro area. We're looking at 33 in Millsboro. So any kind of sleet will turn to plain rain there. 34 in Gumboro. So it looks like you can draw a line from Seaford to Red. In fact, Seaford just went above freezing. So anywhere north of that line is still below freezing. In fact, in the 20s from Bridgeville to Milford. Millsboro above freezing. And then along the coast, we just saw Rehoboth with the rain pelting the camera, 34 there. Bethany Beach, 36. And Ocean City at 38 degrees as our warmer air is starting to work in. And look at these wind gusts. That's another part of this story. We're seeing wind gusts close to 40 miles per hour at the coast. We saw the angry Atlantic Ocean with huge whitecaps out there, and wind gusts inland even close to 30 in Georgetown, 24 in Millsboro, 19 in Redden right now. So it is just downright nasty as the precipitation type this afternoon transitions to rain for basically everybody. So even the eastern shore where you're seeing temperatures in the 20s, you're going to be moving above freezing into this afternoon. So from the eastern shore, mid-shore, back through Sussex, back to Salisbury and points south, we're going to be seeing just plain rain. But if you're traveling north, and really do so carefully, we're looking at still some ice around Dover through Easton, and then especially as you travel farther north, you're still going to be in that wintry precipitation, but not for Sussex County and the immediate area as we go into this afternoon. Here's Futurecast at 1 p.m. It is moderate plain rain as we're seeing temperatures into the 30s, even the lower 40s, places like Selbyville, Fenwick Island, Bethany Beach as well. And you see those red arrows indicating the very strong winds, just making it even more miserable out there. The rain continues into the 4 o'clock hour. Could see some breaks. Those breaks could include some drizzle as temperatures are in the 30s and 40s as we continue to flatten out that snowpack. And I think we'll be melting away some of that sleet and snow as well. We go into the dinner hour, 6:30 or so this evening. We're still looking at plain rain with temperatures in the 30s and into the 40s, lower 40s at the beaches, mid-30s around Del Mar into the Seaford area. As we go deeper into the evening, you're still okay if you're out there clearing the snow and ice. Make sure you get that out before temperatures dip below freezing. We're still above that freezing mark as we go into later this evening, but then by early tomorrow morning, look at this, we're back to freezing as Arctic air funnels in behind the system. I think we shut off the precipitation very early Monday morning, maybe 1, 2 a.m., and then it's just plain cold and falling temperatures as we go into your Monday. So we're into the mid to upper 20s late in the morning. So any standing water or slush will freeze solid, and here comes the Arctic air. It dries out, but it's going to be very cold as we go into tomorrow evening, temperatures falling into the 20s. So anything that melted will freeze solid again as we go into Monday night, and then Tuesday morning we're into the teens. Just very, very cold as we go into your Tuesday as well. Temperatures in the 20s. We're going to be seeing wind chill values in the single digits and teens. Here's another look at Futurecast as we go into the afternoon. We'll pick it up at 4:30. Cambridge through Easton, back into Sussex County. It's just plain rain, and then I think it's pretty much over as we go into the very early morning hours of Monday, say 1 to 2 a.m., and then it's just cold and cloudy as we start your Monday, and we actually start to see more in the way of sunshine. So hopefully that melts off a little bit of the snow, but you can see these temperatures are brutal by later tomorrow evening, teens and 20. So it's going to be still very treacherous out there on the roads. And we're looking at the storm once again on Futurecast, bringing the rain to coastal areas with some ice farther to the west, and then it's just plain cold after that. We could still see some ice accretion from Cambridge up to the Dover area as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. So that's where the roads will be especially treacherous as we are looking at potentially freezing conditions. And once again, there's all the precipitation types we've seen over the past 24 hours. And once again, thankfully, that will wind down as we go into the evening hours. I want to toss to a story I did just a couple of days ago about preparing for the snow and staying safe when you're shoveling snow and ice. Let's take a look at that right now. On this particular day, it's full sunshine, but in a few days, we'll need our favorite snow shovel and also other products to remove the snow and ice. I spoke with a doctor about staying safe in the upcoming storm.
A lot of people aren't used to doing that kind of exercise, at least that heavy, that frequently. So I always like to say, try to get some help. Use a smaller snow shovel. If the snow is very heavy, sometimes it can
I'm
really
surprised
put
they
strain on
canceled
your
it
back or
because
on your
I mean,
heart.
the roads
Marisa Conti,
are
an internal medicine doctor at BB Health, is stressing the importance of health and safety when shoveling snow and ice.
A lot of times you're
Okay,
out there
and
and
then
you're
what I'm gonna
active,
do
you
is
don't
when I come
realize that
back,
that chest pain is not
want me
necessarily
to just go a
stress
couple
from
minutes?
your shoulders of shoveling and things.
Oh,
It
then
could
am I
actually
touching
be
the
a heart
Kevin's
attack.
package?
Dr. Conti also
Okay.
says to make sure you're
I'll
wearing
just wrap it up.
proper
How long do
gear.
you want me to go?
A
Just
lot
few
of times
minutes?
wearing shoes that have a good base to them, that aren't really slippery, and
Join
of
us
course
on
warm,
socials
and to
and
keep your
then,
feet
like, you
dry
know,
is really
Coast
important.
TV News.
Taking like small steps, making sure that
Paul
you
Williams
test
will have
the ground
very,
before you take a
latest on
big
air at
step. Also pretty important. A fall could be catastrophic for a lot of people.
You can also use various products to stay safe. This is rock salt.
Thanks.
It's effective in melting ice and snow, but can also eat away
Yeah,
at
it started
concrete.
chewing up our concrete.
This
The rock
is
salt goes right
magnesium
into concrete
chloride.
and
This is a
chews it
safer
up.
alternative
Whereas the
and
other stuff
also
is better.
protects brick and concrete.
Magnesium chloride.
Other environmentally
Ted
safe
did a really good
alternatives
job.
include kitty litter and a gripping agent like sand. Those work well too.
Do you have cats?
Bottom line, monitor your health when battling winter weather.
I think
We encourage people to be sure if you get short of breath, if you get nauseous, if you get sweaty, if you get chest pain, really listen to that and stop what you're doing immediately. And
then
if you
you're
need
gonna
help,
hit it
call
back to the
911
boxes.
immediately. Don't waste any time.
Whatever Mother Nature has in store for Delmarva this weekend, be it snow, sleet, or ice, stay safe and healthy in the storm. For Coast TV, I'm Bob Trihey.
I'm sure a lot of you missed the sunny days without the snow if you didn't like the snow, but we are looking at conditions this afternoon that will be wet and not white, so that's certainly good news. Here's your day part forecast. We're looking at temperatures beginning to rise through the 30s, so that's good news. That will continue to melt the snow and ice as we go into the afternoon. By 4 p.m., we're into the upper 30s, but then this evening, the good news is we're still above the freezing mark. So if you haven't had a chance to get outside and to clear the snow, once again, be very careful doing that. We'll be looking at those temperatures above freezing as we go into the afternoon hours. If you're just joining us, here are the latest snowfall totals we have. About 2 to 5 inches fell across our area, across our part of Delmarva. In Milton, we picked up 4 inches, Selbyville about 4, Millsboro 3.5, with Cambridge and Ocean City around 3, Dover 6.5. A lot of those half-foot totals were farther to the north and west of us. So things worked out pretty good as far as the projected snowfall, as that snow has now turned to sleet, but do once again be careful on the eastern shore as we could be looking at some more ice accretion. That means ice accumulating on power lines with temperatures below freezing. So make sure you have a plan in case the power goes out, and be very, very safe if you're running a generator. Do not run it in your garage. Make sure you run it outside because it gives off carbon monoxide, and that is very dangerous. Once again, it's a silent killer. And once again, here's a look at Rehoboth. My goodness, look at that. 35. Big seas, and the rain is starting to chew away at the snowpack there, with Milford 23, very slick conditions. The Dry Tech Cam in Ocean City 38 as warm air is moving up from the south. And in Salisbury on the Tidal Health Cam, slushy roads right now. But the good news is the road conditions will improve as temperatures rise, and we're looking at rain, but not rain in Cambridge. If it is raining, it's freezing rain at 22 degrees. So the midshore, eastern shore, that's where we really have to be careful. And once again, we're seeing that snow transitioning to sleet, and now we're seeing the rain building in from the south. Crisfield, Chincoteague, Salisbury, Ocean City making its way into the Highway 9 area, Rehoboth, and that will continue to move to the north. However, farther west, western Sussex, back through Oxford into Cambridge, Midshore, Easton, Dover. You're going to be hanging on to that wintry precipitation for a couple of more hours to come. So really be careful careful out there, and make sure you stay tuned to us. We will continue to have much more on this system. We're updating the forecast on the radio, and we'll be on socials, continuing to update you on the situation. And Paul Williams, live on Coast TV News at 6, will have the very latest on the air about the storm. So we have you covered, and we hope you stay tuned the rest of the day and stay safe. Have a great afternoon. I'm First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey.